Today we learn the operations research. Paper code is CS505A for the BTech courses. This is for the computer science and engineering and operations research and optimization technique. Paper code is MCA304 for the master of computer applications. Today's lecture is the lecture 6, module 1 linear programming problem. In short it is LPP. And lecture 6, module 1 linear programming problem for the master of computer application. It is lecture 1 and lecture 6 and module 1 for both the courses, computer science and engineering and master of computer application. Today we learn lecture 6. What we learned? Simplex method. How to solve a linear programming problem. This is the special method is known as the simplex method. Linear programming problem. First, we have to know the what is called the canonical and the standard form of the LPP, linear programming problem. What is called the standard canonical form and the standard form. Maximization problem is less than equal to type is known as the canonical form. And maximization problem constant to all are the in greater than equal to time, it is known as the canonical form. Standard form, if any constant is less than equal to type, you have to add the slack variable in the left hand side to make it the equal, and any constant is greater than equal to, then we have to subtract a positive variable from the left hand side, that is known as the surplus variable. Then we have to convert the given linear programming problem to the standard form. The general LPP can be classified as the canonical and the standard form. In standard form, irrespective of the objective function, namely maximize or the minimize, all the constraints are expressed as equation. That is the standard form. Moreover, right hand side of each constraint and all variables are non-negative. And at the same time, we have to make the right hand side of the equations, make it the positive. If any right hand side after converting the standard form it is the negative, then we have to multiply both sides by -1 and make it the positive. Characteristic of the standard form, the objective function is of the maximization type, all the constants are expressed as the equation, right hand side of each constant is non-negative and all variables are non-negative. First, we are considering we are converting the objective function to the maximization problem. If it is the maximization problem, it is okay. If it is not the maximization problem, we can convert any minimization problem to the maximization problem. That is not the problem by multiplying the minus. If we say the max minimize of z means maximize of minus z, and all the constants expressed as a equation. After converting the equations, if right hand side is the negative, then we have to convert it to the positive right hand side by multiplying both sides by the -1. And again we have to check all the variables should be positive, that is the non-negative. In canonical form, if the objective function is of the maximization, all the constants other than the non-negative conditions are less than equal to type. That means canonical form, normally we are saying maximization problem is less than equal to type. If the objective function is of the minimization, all the constants other than the non-negative conditions is greater than equal to type. Characteristic of the canonical form, the objective function is of maximization type, all the constants are all of less than equal to type, all variables xi are non-negative. The characteristic of the canonical form, the objective function is of maximization type, all constants are of less than equal to type, and all variables xi are non-negative. Note, minimization of a function z is equivalent to maximizations of the negative expressions of the function that I already discussed. So minimum z, we can write it minus of maximum of minus z. So any minimization problem we can easily convert to a maximization problem. This part we are considering to solve the problem, and whatever the result we get by converting the maximization problem, that result will be converted to multiplying by -1. An inequality in one direction can be converted into an inequality in the positive direction by multiplying both sides by the -1. Suppose a less than equal to minus b. So right hand side never be the negative. So if we multiply both sides by the -1, we will get the right hand side will be positive and equations will be changed. Suppose we have the constant equation. Suppose we have the constant equation is like that. Equality constant is that. That equality constant we can break it into the two inequations. Suppose we have the constant equation a11x1 a12x2 plus a1n xn is equal to b1. That is, we can convert it into the two inequations. One inequations is less than equal to b1, another inequations is greater than equal to b1. This type a11x1 plus a12x2 plus a1n xn less than equal to b1, a1n x1 plus a12x2 plus a1n xn greater than equal to b1. So these two inequation is called the weak inequations, because combining this we will get the equation. Fourth condition, if a variable is unrestricted in sign, then it can be expressed as a difference of two non-negative variables. That is, if x1 is unrestricted in sign, that means normally our all the variables is non-negative. That means x1, x2, xn here all are greater than equal to 0. When the variable is unrestricted in sign, that means its value from negative to positive may be any value. But according to our linear programming problem, all the variables are positive. Then that unrestricted variable we can define by the difference of two restricted variables. That means x1 we can express as a difference of the two variable restricted variable. That means two non-negative variables. That is x1 dash minus x1 double dash. So we can write x1 equal to x1 dash minus x1 double dash, where x1 dash and x1 double dash both are greater than equal to 0. They are non-negative. Now see, we do not know which one is the greater. If x1 dash is greater than x1 double dash, then difference is positive. That time x1 is the positive. If x1 dash is less than x1 double dash, that time that value is the negative. That means x1 value is varying from negative to positive, any value. That's why it is x1 is unrestricted in sign, and any unrestricted variable we can express as the difference of the two restricted variable, and that two restricted variable is greater than equal to 0. Now, the fifth point. In standard form, all the constants are expressed in equations, which is possible by introducing the some additional variables called the slack variables and the surplus variables. If the constant is less than equal to, then we are adding to make it equal in the left hand side a positive variable that is known as the slack variable. If the left hand side is greater than the right hand side, that means it is greater than equal to type, then we are subtracting a positive variable from the left hand side that is known as the surplus variable, so that a system of simultaneous linear equation is obtained. The necessary transformation will be made to ensure that the right hand side should be bi greater than equal to 0. Linear programming problem, LPP. Solution of the LPP simplest method. Now we entered into the actual method is the simplex method. Now what is the simplex method? And before start the simplex method, what we have to do? Simplex method is an iterative procedure for solving the LPP in a finite number of steps. This is a step-by-step procedure, iterative procedure, but we have to do it step by step. Finite number of steps is there. It provides an algorithm which consists of moving from one vertex of the region of the feasible solution to the another in such a manner that the value of the objective function at the succeeding vertex is less or more, as the case may be, then add the previous vertex. That means if it is the maximization problem, then we already learned what is the feasible region for our the solution. Then the solution move from one corner to one corner. And for the maximization problem, the value is improved from one corner to one corner. If it is the minimization problem, one corner to one corner, it becomes less and less. Always that the result is moving from one corner to another corner. It's less or more. As the case may be, then add the previous vertex. This procedure is repeated, and since the number of vertices is finite, the method leads to an optimal vertex in a finite number of steps. Ultimately, we reach to a corner points of the feasible region, which gives us the optimum value. The steps or indicates the existence of the unbounded solution. Definition. Let XB be a basic feasible solution to the linear programming problem. One problem is there, that is the objective function constant and the non-negativity conditions is there. Then we are considering that it's after converting we will get maximize z is equal to cx subject to the conditions is that ax is equal to b, where x is greater than equal to 0 such that satisfies xb is equal to b inverse b, because number of constant is less than the number of variables. That time we are considering few variables, make it to 0 to solve it. That xb is our the non-zero and rest of the variable we are making as a 0. So from that we can write xb equal to b inverse b. B is the submatrix of A. That is, A is the number of constant, N is the number of variables, M is less than equal to N. If it is strictly M is less than N, then we are making N minus M variables equal to 0. So rest of the part we will get A coefficient matrix is M cross N. That coefficient matrix we are considering as a B. That's why the solution, that is called the basic solution, XB is equal to B inverse B, where B is the basis matrix formed by the column of the basic variables, that is M number of variables. The vector CBJ is equal to CB1, CB2 and CBM, where CBJ are components of the C, that component, associate with the basic variables called the cost vector associated with the basic feasible solution XB. Let XB be a basic feasible solution to the LPP. Max Z equal to Cx, where Ax is equal to B and X greater than equal to 0. Let CB be the cost vector corresponding to XB. The rest of the variable is 0 considering the non-zero variable. That part is the XB. For each column vector Aj in A1 which is not a column vector of the B, let Aj is equal to I is equal to 1 to M Aij Bi. Then the number Zj is equal to I is equal to 1 to M Cbi Aij. It is multiplying the corresponding value of the objective function in the Z function, and Aij is the coefficient matrix. From that we can calculate. So I am explaining the next slide in the table. Is called the evolution and the corresponding to the Aj, and the number Zj minus Cj is called the net evaluation corresponding to J. Cj is the coefficient of the variable xj in the Z function. Cbi is the coefficient of that, and Ai is multiplying, we will get that. Cbi is the coefficient of the basis variable. That means those are the basic variables. That coefficient of the Z function. Simplex algorithm. Now we start the what is the basic steps of the simplex algorithm. Then we consider the table. From the table it will be more easy for us to explain and learn the things. The simplex algorithm is the classical method to solve the optimization problem of the linear problem. For the solution of any LPP by simplex algorithm, the existence of an initial basic feasible solution is always assumed. The steps for the computation of an optimum solution are as follows. Step 1. Check whether the objective function of the given LPP is to be maximized or minimized. If it is to be minimized, then we convert into a problem of the maximization. If it is the minimization problem, easily we can convert it to the maximization problem. Step 2. Check whether all BII is equal to 1 to M are positive. Right hand side of the each and every equation is positive or not. If it is negative, multiplying both sides by the minus 1. If any b is negative, then the multiplying the inequations of the constant by minus 1, so as to get all bi to be positive and inequations will be changed. Express the problem in the standard form by introducing the slack or surplus variable to convert the inequality constant into an equation. According to that, we have to introduce the either slack variable or surplus variable. Obtain an initial basic feasible solution to the problem in the form of xb is equal to b inverse b. But we are not doing in this way. This is our the standard symbolic representation. and put it in the first column of the simplex table from the initial simplex table as given below. Now see the table, how it is looks like. Obtain an initial basic feasible solution to the problem in the form xb is equal to b inverse b and put it in the first column of the simplex table from the initial simplex table as given below. Here, how many variables is there? In the z function, that is x1 c1, x2 c1 x1, c2 x2, c3 x3, cn xn. That is number of variables, number of unknowns is the n number of variables, and we have m number of constants, and m is less than n. In this case, we are making the n variables. Here, how many variables? After it is, since it is less than equal to right hand side, this is the right hand side, these are the symbols. This part initially is our the coefficient matrix, and in this case all the constants are less than equal to type. We have m constant and n variables. This means a11 x1, a12 x2, a13 x3 up to a1 n xn less than equal to b1. To make it in equality, we are introducing a variable s1. That means we are adding in the left hand side s1, whose coefficient is 1. That's why coefficient matrix it is 1 for the first constant. Second constant we are adding s2. Third constant we are adding s3, and the last constant, in the mth constant, we are adding the sm, whose coefficient is 1. Now here how many variables we have? M constant and m plus n variables. We have already the n variables. We are added m number of variables. That means we have the n plus m variables. Now to obtain the basic feasible solution, what we are doing first? We are making x1, x2, x3, xn equal to 0. These are the 0. We are making x1, x2, x3, xn equal to 0. That time these are the non-zero. That means s1, s2, sm. These variables are our the basic variable. So this part will be the meaningless if we convert the new equations. What we will get? S1 equal to B1, S2 is equal to B2, Sm is equal to Bm. That is our the initial basic feasible solution. How to write the table? CB is the coefficient in the z function. CB is the coefficient in the z function. That means CB1 means coefficient of the basic variable S1. What is the basic variable of the S1? That is the 0. So this is CB1 means it is basically the 0. But in symbolic we are writing those variables is our the basic variable. We are considering x1 to xn equal to 0. So s1, s2, sm is our the initial basic variable, and whatever the solution we will get, that is our the initial basic feasible solution. And this CB1 is the coefficient of S1. CB2 is the coefficient of S2 in the objective function. So basically, when we are solving the problem, all coefficient will be 0 first time. And these are the S1, S2, Sm. These are the now is the coefficient matrix. So and XB is our the right hand side of the equation. This is the basic structure of the simplex table. Whatever the problem is given, first we have to convert it to the standard form. Then we have to make the simplex table. Then That is the another calculation is there. I'm showing in the next table. This calculation, how we can calculate Zj minus Cj, Cb into Aj minus Cj. Back to this into this. So Cb1 into A11, Cb2 into A21 plus all are adding, we will get Cbm into Am1. After adding, we will get, that is the Zj. That is the value of Zj by multiplying this. Corresponding to the each and every column, we will get the, so corresponding the column 1, we will get the Z1. Corresponding to the column 2, that means Cb1 into A12, Cb2 into A22, Cbm into Am2, we will get the Z2. But initially, all Zj value will be 0 in the structure of the problem because all are the 0. So multiplying with the column wise and summing, we will get the 0. And Zj minus Cj means this is C1. Zj, that means Z1 minus C1. Corresponding to the column 2, Z2 minus C2. Corresponding to the column 3, Z3 minus C3. That is showing in the here. Zj minus Cj. Now we already learned how to calculate the Zj, and Cj is the corresponding column coefficient in the objective function. Cb into Aj minus Cj, that way we can do it also. Now we have to check the sign of this Zj minus Cj. If all Zj minus Cj is greater than equal to 0, then the initial basic feasible solution Xb is an optimum basic feasible solution. When we get in the simplex table all Zj minus Cj is greater than equal to 0, then we have to stop the iteration. We can say this is our the optimum table, and whatever the solution we will get, that is our the optimum basic feasible solution. If at least another condition, what is the condition? At least one Zj minus Cj is less than 0. It may be more than that, but at least Zj minus Cj is less than 0. Then we have to proceed to the next step for the next iteration, and we can say that the that table is not our the optimum table. We have to calculate the next step table, and again we have to find out the Zj minus Cj. Again we have to check what is the value of Zj minus Cj is greater than equal to 0 or any one is less than 0. If maybe instead of the 1, it may be there more than one Zj minus Cj is less than 0. Step 6, to find the entering variable in the key column. That means if more than one Zj minus Cj is negative, then we have to choose which one is the most negative Zj minus Cj. Corresponding to that, back to the that table, we are getting Zj minus Cj corresponding to the column 1, column 2, column 3, and we will get few Zj minus Cj is less than equal to 0. From that we have to find out which one is the most negative. That corresponding column variable, suppose I am considering Z2 minus C2 is the most negative corresponding to the column C2. Then the X2 variable will be entered into the basis. That means S1 to Sm, out of this, one will be going out and X2 will be entered here. We do not know which one will be going out. That we have to calculate. That procedural approach is here. Choose the most negative of them. Let it be ZR minus CR for some J is equal to R. This gives the entering variable XR. That means XR. This should be the small XR. And is indicated by an arrow at the bottom of the rth column. That means here. We are considering the second one. So we are putting here the one arrow. That means from that easily we can confirm that the x2 is entering in the basis, and now we are calculating which one is the living. If there are more than one variables having the same most negative zj minus aj, then any one of them can be selected arbitrarily as the entering variable. If all a I are less than equal to 0, that is I is equal to 1 to m, then there is an unbounded solution to the given problem. Suppose in the key column, all the variables is less than equal to 0, phi were 0 or phi were negative, then we can say it is the unbounded solution. We cannot get the bounded feasible solution and optimum solution. If at least one AIR greater than 0, that is I is equal to 1 to m, then the corresponding vector XR enters into the basis. At least one is greater than equal to 0, that means XR enters into the basis corresponding to the AIR. That means column is the rth column and one element is AIR is greater than 0. Step 7. Now we have to find out the ratio. To find the living variable or the key row, we already got the key column. Now we have to calculate the key row. That AIR we are talking is greater than 0 if corresponding to that column, that the coefficient variable, that means the from the coefficient matrix AIR, rth column, that means XR is our the entering variable. From that column, if all the elements are negative or 0, then we cannot proceed for the next step, that is the unbounded solution. If at least one is greater than 0, then we can move to the next step. And now we are considering all AIR is greater than 0. To find the living variable, we have to find out the ratio XBI divided by AIR. That means each and every row, that the right hand side variable, we have the right hand side B1, B2, B3, Bm, that is divided by the rth columns element, but all the elements should be greater than 0. If any one is equal to 0 or negative, we have to stay away from the calculation of the ratio. So compute the ratio XBI by AIR. What is that? I am showing in the table. XBI means B1 divided by, we already considered this is our x2 is our the entering variable. That means B1 divided by A12, B2 divided by A22, Bm divided by Am2. From that we have to find out which one is the minimum. Corresponding variable, basic variable will be going out. After finding the ratio, from that we have to check which ratio is the minimum, that corresponding variable. Suppose our variable is the xk we are considering. That variable should be going out and entering variable is our the xr. Now from a new basis, by dropping the living variable and introducing the entering variable along with the associate variable under the CB column, that B is the coefficient CB. Convert the leading element to unity by dividing the key equation by the key element. That means key row divided by the key element. What is called the key element? Intersection of the key column and the key row. That element is known as the key element. So first step, for the key row, each and every element divided by the key element. And any other element we have to calculate for the next table. And all others, the elements in the columns, for the corresponding column, which one is the key element corresponding to the others elements will be 0 for that column. It is straight away you can say, and also by calculating we can show also that how it becomes 0, because it is form a unit matrix. So that will be the coefficient is 1, all other cell element will be 0. Now we are calculating the others element. What would be the value of the others element? That is, we are using the Gauss elimination formula. New element equal to old element minus product of element corresponding to the corresponding element in the key column and corresponding element in the key row divided by the key element. This formula will be clear when I am discussing with an problem. Just remember this. When we are finding, suppose this is our one element, we are try to find out the value of the new value. This is the old value. So first we have to find out the key row element, corresponding element in the key row. Suppose this is our the key row and this is our the key element. So for this element we will get corresponding element in the key row and corresponding element in the key column. Product it and divided by the key element. We will get a value. From the old value minus it, we will get the new value. Go to the step 5 and repeat the procedure until either an optimum solution is obtained or there is an indications of the unbounded solution. Now considering one example. Solve the following LPP by using the simplex method. What is the problem? Maximize z is equal to x1 plus x2 plus 3x3. From that, as we considering the one problem, with the help of that I am explaining each and every step. What is the z function? X1 plus x2 plus 3x3. So what is the C1? 1, C2 is 1 and C3 is 3. That coefficient is C1, C2 and C3. Subject to the constant 3x1 plus 2x2 plus x3 less than equal to 3. Second constant is 2x1 plus x2 plus 2x3 less than equal to 2. x1, x2, x3 greater than equal to 0. This is the non-negativity conditions. These two constant is there. How many variables is there? 3 variables. Try to understand step by step as I explaining. Since it is a less than equal to, so for converting this or rewriting this given problem by introducing the slack variable which is positive S1 and S2 for the constant 1 and 2, we get left hand side is less. So if we add here S1 and another variable S2, we are adding for the second constant, we will get and rewrite this what we will get. See in the next slide. By introducing the slack variables S1 and S2, but S1 and S2 both are positive and non-negative for the constant 1 and constant 2 respectively. Now rewriting the LPP in the standard form, we get maximum z x1 plus x2 plus 3x3, 0 s1 plus 0 s2, subject to the constant 3x1 plus 2x2 plus x3 plus s1 is equal to 3. 2x1 plus x2 plus 2x3 plus s2 is equal to s2 for the first constant s1 and second constant is s2. Now x1, x2, x3, s1, s2 greater than equal to 0. Let x1, x2, x3 equal to 0. Then the initial basic feasible solution, IBFS in the short form, is here how many variable? 5 variable. And how many equation? 2 equation and 5 variable. That's why initially we are setting x1, x2, x3 equal to 0. And we left the 2 basic variable S1 and S2. coefficient of S1 is 1 and here coefficient of S2 is 0. Here coefficient of S1 is 0 and coefficient of S2 is 1. So these two forming 1 0 0 1 a unit matrix, that is known as the basis, and this S1 S2 is known as the basis variable, which one we are considering as a initial basic variable. And with the help of that, what we will get, S1 is equal to 3, making x1 x2 x3 equal to 0. S1 is equal to 3 and S2 is equal to 2. That is our the initial basic feasible solution. Now we are making the simplex table. What we will get, coefficient of this x1, coefficient of x2, coefficient of x3, that is C1, C2, C3. This is C4 and this is C5, and both are the 0. And in this case, our coefficient matrix will be 3, 2, 1, 1, 0, 2, 1, 2, 0, 1, and XB is 3, 2. And here, since S1 and S2 is our the basis variable, coefficient of that here 0, 0. So left hand side in the CB in the first column will be 0, 0, and CB will be the our XB will be our the S1 and S2. This is our the simplex table 1. This is our the simplex table 1. CJ, see 1, 1, 3, 0, 0. Our variable is x1, x2, x3, s1, s2. CB, that is the coefficient of s1 and s2 is 0, 0. And this is our the basic variable s1 and s2. These are the coefficient matrix. This part is the coefficient matrix 3, 2, 1, 1, 1, 0, 2, 1, 2, 0, 0. And XB right hand side is 3 and 2. First, what we have to do, we have to calculate the ZJ. How we can calculate? I already said in the first table, all ZJ value will be 0 for the simple simplex problem. 0 into 3, 0, 0 into 2 is 0. Sum up, we will get the 0. 0 into 2, 0 into 1, 0. Sum up, we will get 0, 0. So in the first table, all ZJ will be 0. Now next calculation is ZJ minus CJ. Now ZJ is 0, 0 minus 1 is minus 1. 0 minus 1 is minus 1. 0 minus 3 is minus 3. 0 minus 0 is 0. 0 minus 0 is 0. Now calculating this 0 into 3 and 0 into 2 adding, we will get 0. In the first table, our objective function value is 0. Now it will be improved step by step. Now see, all ZJ are not greater than equal to 0. In this last row, the value of ZJ minus CJ, all ZJ minus CJ is not greater than equal to 0. So this is not an optimal table, since there are 3 ZJ minus CJ less than equal to 0. Out of this, which one is the most negative? Minus 3 is the most negative. That is our the key column. That is indicated by the arrow. Among the 3 negative, minus 3 is the most negative. That is corresponding to the column 3. That is our the key column. It is denoted by the up arrow. Now we have to find out, this is the key column. Now we have to find out, that means x3 will be entered into the basis. Now our target or the next step is find out, or next procedure we can say, find out the which variable is the leaving variable. That means we have to find out the ratio. This is our the key column. This is our A31. With respect to this, we are calling it A31, and this is we are calling is the A32. When we are talking with the vector component, this is actually we are denoted by also the A3, A1, A2, A3 instead of the X1, X2, X3 also some books, and A4, A5. Straightway find the ratio. This is the right hand side, 3 by 1 equal to 3. and 2 by 2 equal to 1. Out of this two ratio, which one is the negative? This is denoted by the KR and the BI. KR means this is the key column and these are the incrementing number. R is the incrementing number 1, 2. That means A3, 1, A3, 2. So out of this is the minimum. Out of this two ratio, which one is that? S2 will be going out. This is our known as the key row. Where is the ratio is the minimum is the key row. So this is the second row is our the key row and third column is our the key column. So intersection is the key element. 2 is the key element. So next step, key row, each and every element divided by 2. Each and every element is divided by 2. So what we'll get in the next table, this will be 1, this will be half, this will be 1, this will be 0, this will be half, this will be 1 and this will be 1. Then we have to calculate the others element, this. And already I said when it is converting to 1, all the elements will be 0 corresponding to the key column, except the key element, all others will be 0. I'm showing in the, before go to the next table, what would be the value of these 3, what will be the value of these 3, that calculation is there. And what is our the formula, that will be clear to you. Now, if I calculating this is our the old value, what would be the new value? So old value, sorry, new value equal to old value minus corresponding element in the key row. This is the corresponding element in the key row and corresponding element in the key column. This is the key column. So this into this 2 into 1 divided by 2. So 3 minus 1 into 2 divided by 2. That means 1. 3 minus 1 equal to 2. So this will be the 2 in the next table. Few calculation is there. All the detailing is there, whatever I said right now for calculation, that whatever the calculation I said, that is the given here 3 and 1, which you know is the minimum, that minimum, and the key row, key column, all the calculations is given here. Whatever I said, that is language, it is written here. Now, new element is equal to old element. This is the Gauss elimination computational formula. New element is equal to old element. Product of corresponding element in the key column into corresponding element in the key row divided by the key element. A11 is equal to 3 minus 3 minus 2 into 1 divided by 2 is 2. Now A12 is equal to 2 minus 1 into 1 divided by 2 is equal to 2 minus half is equal to 3 by 2. 0. Another element we are calculating. Now 3, that is the XB calculation. See, 3 minus 1 into 2 divided by 2. 3 minus 1 equal to 2. So after calculating this, we got the table 2. In the table 2, see, X3 is entered and S2 is going out. So what is the coefficient of X3 in the our objective function? C, 3. That 3 is here. That the CB means the coefficient in the objective function of the basic variable. This is in the basis, that's why it is the basic variable, or we can call it the basis. X3 is the basis. What is the coefficient of X3 in the objective function? That is 3. So 3 be here, 0 is there. Now we are to calculate the again previously Z, first ZJ we have to calculate. So 0 into 2 is 0, 3 into 1 is 3. Now 3 minus 1, that is the ZJ minus CJ, 2. Now 0 into 3 by 2 is 0 and 3 into half, 3 by 2. 3 by 2 minus 1 equal to half. 0 into 0, 0. 3 into 1 is 3. 3 minus 3 is 0. 3 into 0 and 0 into 0. This is 0. 0 minus 0 is 0. 3 into half, 3 by 2, and 0 into half, 0. So 3 by 2. Zj is, this should be the 3 by 2. And 3 by 2 minus, it is mistake. This should be the 3 by 2. 3 by 2 minus 0 is 3 by 2. And see, that value will be 0 into 2 is 0 and 3 into 1 is 3. This is the improve of the Z value. Previously it was the 0, right now it is 3. Now see here, all the Zj minus Cj, all Zj minus Cj are greater than equal to 0. Since all Zj minus Cj is greater than equal to 0, this is an optimum table. This is an optimum table. Hence the optimum solution is, this is not in our the requirement. That means x1 and equal to 0, x2 is equal to 0. Those are not here. That should be the 0. x1 equal to 0, x2 equal to 0, and x3 is equal to 1. That is our the optimum solution. And optimum value is 3. Since all z minus cj greater than equal to 0, the solution is optimum. The optimal solution is max z is equal to 3, x1 equal to 0, x2 is equal to 0, and x3 is equal to 1. So this is the complete, and next lecture we learn, that is the lecture 7, simplex method. Continuation of that we discuss in the different types of problem of the simplex method.